Tubers, duets, and of course, crazy people. Welcome back to the little channel. Baby May and I. Oh, say hi, baby.
Hi everyone, I'm back in the
Well, you
Philippines.
just gave it all away. We just got back from about a 6-week stint in Thailand. It was originally going to be a 3-week trip, and it got extended out to 6, not by choice, but by circumstance. And so a normal person would tell you about their trip, and they would start at the beginning, and then there'd be a middle, and there would be an end. And you might break that up in a number of videos, or maybe you could knock it out in one. Actually, I'm going to talk to you about our last 24 hours of the trip. I'm going to put the very dead ending in first. The reason why is I have to, because I can't remember stuff all the stuff that happened, I have to do it now while it's fresh in my memory. And I wanted to share it with you guys because as ugly as it was, it's pretty friggin' comical. And so I actually had to make notes, dates, times, flights, just to keep track of what happened. I would be remiss if I didn't give you a little bit of background as to why this turned into such a cluster. Um, Our flight was not going to leave until 8 p.m., so we had plenty of time. It was going to go from Phuket to Bangkok, 8 p.m., and we're going to land at 9:20. Okay, so let's just focus on that. Previously, though, on our trip, a tropical storm or typhoon, whatever it was, hit Little Phuket and especially Little Putong, where we were staying. And it rained so much that not only did it flood certain parts of the city, but it actually took out one of the major roadways. And so what did that do? There's 3 major roadways in my mind, I may be wrong, going into Putong. And we took out one, right? Or the typhoon took out one.
Yeah.
That leaves you with 2. And so I knew in my mind, and in having discussions with guys that I was hanging out with, that my ride to the airport was going to be a lot longer than it was coming in before this typhoon hit. Because of course it waited till we got there. And so what had happened was we had been rained on for the majority of the time that we were there, our last 3 weeks, if you will. First 3 weeks is a whole other story. And a couple of days before we were to leave, it lightened up. And it started to get bright and sunny.
Yeah.
Baby May and I got out and about with our friends or by ourselves, and we did all of our stuff. We took trips, we did this, we did that. May's already posted a video about going to the big Buddha and all that hoo-ha. And so I was like unconcerned at that point. And then the day of us leaving, what happened? It came back and started to rain like you don't know. Now, what did I have to do? The reason I wasn't concerned is because it was sunny, but when it started to rain, that got my attention because I needed to do a couple of 3 things. Number one, I needed to go get a COVID test, a rapid test, right? Because I had to wait till the last day because it's only 24 hours. And I've made the blunder before. I was off by 1 hour and 17 minutes when I came back from America. And I knew the drill on that. So I have to go do that before I get on the plane. I also have to return my scooter. No big deal. He's just across the street. And so when the rain started coming down, I said, oh my God, this is psycho. I can't drive my scooter to the COVID place. I could take a taxi, I guess. And my friend Gary, he invited us to lunch at noon. Okay? And remember, our flight's not leaving until 8. I said, yeah, absolutely, man, let's go there. And I figured maybe by then the rain will lighten up and I'll be able to do the COVID deal and return the scooter. So we went to lunch. Gary was very gracious and took May and I out for sushi, and it was on him, and it was awesome. And we spent 2 hours at the restaurant just shooting the breeze and recanting stories and all this and that. Because it was our last day in town with our friend. As we had lunch, it just continued to rain and rain and rain and rain. And it didn't get better. It got worse. And so we got into a taxi to go back to the Unity, which is where we were staying and where Gary lives. And that 15-minute drive home turned into 1 hour. They actually had shut down another street that went one way. Beach Boulevard, which is what we were on, went one way, which was toward our apartment.
Yeah.
And they had to turn Beach Boulevard into a two-way because the Ratchet Feet, I think it was called, was just so inundated that nobody could go. And we were really kind of concerned that we were going to get stuck in this water. And I kept thinking, oh my God, what is this going to do to our ride to the airport? Are we going to be able to even get a taxi, and get to the airport or not? And but guess what? The COVID test is now completely off the radar because they're underwater. They're on one of the streets that's flooded. So now I got to go to Plan B and get maybe tested at the airport. Okay, enough of that. We get home. I get the scooter back. I just take it down and drop it off. It was just across the street from the apartment. Get my passport back from them. Everything's copacetic. We're packed. We're ready to go. And I asked a number of people, how long do you think it'll take to get to the airport? And I got a variety of answers. So I said, you know what? It was a 30-minute ride in. People are telling me it's an hour and a half. I'm going to figure more. And so I want to leave at 4 o'clock. And if it takes 2 hours or 2.5 hours, that's cool. The Patong airport is small. It's easy to navigate. It's a great airport, by the way. And our ride is on Air Asia. It's going to fly us from Phuket to Bangkok, and we're going to leave at 8. We're going to arrive at 9:20. Okay, that's just to get to Bangkok. So we called the cab. Our cab driver rocked. That lady?
The lady.
Woohoo!
She
was
smart.
Very smart.
Very smart.
And so she picked us up at 4, and she had all these little shortcuts that she
shortcut.
had. And it was actually kind of cool because May and I got to see how the other half lived after being in the hoity-toity part of Patong. We got to see how the locals lived and compare it to the Philippines, kind of their lower income, if you will. Still better than the Philippines, but it was good for us to see that, yes, they do exist. We couldn't see them because we never had any time to. We make it to the airport on time. That actually went smooth. For the first time in my life, we got in, and we were on gate number 8. I'll never forget gate number 8. And it's raining like a mofo.
Yeah.
And I'm on Air Asia, and I'm going to connect with Philippine Airlines. That always makes me frightened because if I'm not using the same airline and Air Asia cancels, I lose all my money for PhilAir. I lose my flight. I lose everything. And I'm going to have to book a hotel and start all over again, no matter where I get stuck in Patong again, or if I make it to Bangkok late. Now I'm going to have to just book a hotel, pay for that, and I'm going to have to pay for the entire flight all over again because I don't have it refundable. Anyway, I walk into the airport. We're at gate 8. Dead in front of us is gate 8. I said, this is a good sign. And so we go in. We actually have time to walk around the airport and snoop around. And they had Subway sandwiches, which I really liked. I missed those. I forgot about those. They had 2 Subway sandwiches. They had Burger King. They had all this kind of stuff that I kind of missed, you know. And very clean, cool airport. Yeah. So we sit down, and we've got an hour to kill. And I want to announcements. And I got up 3 times and started looking at the departure board. And guess what started to light up? Cancel, canceled, canceled, delayed, delayed, canceled. Flights were canceling or being delayed left and right. Out of about 20 or 25 or 30 or whatever was on the board, I would say a good 7 or 8 of them were starting to light up. And I started thinking, oh man, if we don't get on this plane or if it's delayed or whatever, we could be in trouble, especially if it cancels, because there's no other option. Delayed was cool because we had a big layover. Yeah. Actually, no, we didn't. See, that's why I needed to write this down. We had a short layover there. So, what happened? They didn't cancel it. It was on time. We got on the plane. I said, man, if you could just get me to Bangkok. If everything else falls apart, that's okay. Because even though I don't want to lose the money, we're already in this 50% over budget already. by this point because we got extended by 3 weeks without planning to, trust me. But I said, Bangkok is so easy to navigate with a hotel near the airport, and I'm just going to have to suck it up if it goes down. But it didn't. So we got to Bangkok. Now, in Bangkok, we're going to Manila at 1 a.m. We arrived in Bangkok at 9:20. So that's about 4 hours or so to cool our heels, which actually wasn't terrible. So we got there. I don't like long layovers, but it did take us a while to navigate the airport. Oh, and here's the other thing. Since I'm going to Manila and I don't have my COVID test because I'm not boosted, all right?
Yeah.
We have our e-arrival cards. Those were easy.
Yeah.
Those were easy to do. We're all ready to go. I says, well, I've been hearing about guys sneaking in, unvaccinated, so maybe I'll just get lucky. And usually I have this big fist fight at the counter about my throwaway ticket. You know, that is a bone of contention whenever I'm coming back to the Philippines. But no, we get up to the counter. We get a really nice lady. She checks all of our stuff.
Yeah.
She looks at my throwaway ticket on my phone. She just puts the information in. It's okay. I said, well, we're moving forward on this. She starts printing up some stuff, and she says, do you have your rapid test? I said, no. She goes, you're not boosted, are you? I said, no. And she said, well, you're going to need one. And I said, oh, I thought I could slip through the cracks. And so now it's like countdown time because we don't have that much time. I said, I'm taking it. There's one here at the airport. Downstairs, level 1, you can go get tested. I said, okay, and then just come back and see me.
Yeah.
But she said, you got 45 minutes to make this happen because that's when we close.
Yeah.
And I said, all right. So I parked little May. Poor May, she was so stressed.
Everything.
And I gotta confess, I was acting like a real bitch during this whole trip. My attitude was terrible. And I was getting mad and mad and mad. And poor May had to sit there and listen to me. So I actually apologized to her like 5 times. And again today I said I'm sorry. Because I was losing my shit. Not at her, but I was just mad about stuff that was going on. You'll understand better as soon as this video keeps moving here. Okay, so here we go. So now I got to go downstairs. I got to park her. I got to go downstairs, level 1, try to figure out where everything is because they got these escalators that are different than normal to me. And I find the place, and I go in, and I only pay 550 baht, about 15 bucks maybe, for the test. But I got 20 minutes to wait for the results. And I got to tell you, it crossed my mind, what if I'm positive? And so I had this 20 minutes of inner turmoil, worst case scenario in this thing. It happens, right? We had been sick when we first arrived. And for 20 minutes, my hair actually got grayer, if you can believe it, because I was imagining, I can't go, but she can. What do? Do I put her on the plane, get her ass home? How do I navigate this? I'm negative. Oh, thank God. So I get upstairs. I grab May. I said, she's like this, and I said this. And we get back to the nice lady, and she gives us our boarding passes.
Yeah.
And I was like, hallelujah. Now, my thinking was, if I can just get to Manila, I'm cool. Here's another little caveat. This is going to run long, guys. I'm sorry. But if I leave out some of the details, it's not going to be a complete story. I had booked the flight from Manila to Dumaguete just a couple of days before we left. And I can't remember the method behind my madness on that. But there was a reason, and I can't remember why. That's why I got to read notes. This is terrible. Getting old is not good. You forget stuff. But anyway, whatever my course of thinking was. But what had pissed me off was the day that I was leaving, which was the 28th or the 29th, one of the two. The 29th, because it changed over. Prices went up from $54 to $104 on just the 29th. Every other day, for one person to fly from Manila to Dumaguete was $54. But on the day I'm leaving, it's $104. So when I booked it, I had it in my mind. See this 1 a.m. to 5:30? Of course you can't. I'm holding it. But we were leaving Bangkok at 1 a.m. and arriving at 5:30. And when I booked the flight a kind of on the fly. I had that 1 a.m. in my head that we were landing when I did it. Okay, so I booked my ticket wrong, and I had to make a change to it, and it cost me an extra $100, $50 each. So my little trip from Manila to Dumaguete was now going to cost me $300, and normally you can get rates of like $39 each. But so that was one of the little things that just sort of twisted my head, and that I was paying as much for the ticket for us to get to Dumaguete as for one person to fly all the way to Thailand. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way things are rolling. And so I made the change, and here's the hard part. We make it to Manila, and now we have got a 9.5-hour layover. Let me look at my notes here. We land at 5:30 a.m. and we don't leave to Dumaguete until 3:05 p.m. And I did the math, 9.5 hours. We got to cool our heels in Manila. What happened in Manila? Oh, they had a tropical storm.
Yeah.
We're like storm chasers in this thing. They had a friggin' typhoon of their own, and so Manila was getting flooded.
Yeah.
So we get there, thank God, we make it to Manila. I said, okay, worst case scenario, again, I'm gonna have to, if they cancel, we're okay actually, because it's still Philippine Air and it's on them. But if not, we're gonna have to gut out this 9.5 hours. And so we hung in there for about an hour and a half of sitting around, and I was out smoking cigarettes every 15 minutes, and May was watching the luggage.
Yeah.
And she got some Jollibee and
Hot chocolate.
hot chocolate and those hard chairs. And we didn't want to go into the building. We wanted to stay outside where it was at least some air and stuff to look at instead of being cooped up in the airport and go through security. So we said, and so I went downstairs to, go have a smoke. And as I was walking through, I saw a sign that said 24-hour rooms. And I thought, oh, wow, that's a place where they've got rooms on site, like, lounges, the executive people get. Excuse me. So I said, let me check this out. So I go inside, and there's this big, heavy-set woman. She's so excited to talk to me.
Yeah.
And 2,500 pesos. Now we're in the Philippines. It's $50, and for 24 hours you can get this room. And I said, great. Is it here? At the airport? She said, no. It's a 4-minute bus ride to our hotel. And she shows me the brochure. And indeed, it's a little hotel. It says it's got an on-site restaurant and a cafe and free Wi-Fi and all these cool things. And I said, you know what? I think it would. And we were so sleepy and so tired.
Yeah.
We're now about 20 some odd hours with no sleep and traveling and carrying the luggage and the usual hoo-ha, which makes travel so delightful these days. And I said, I'll take you up on it. Yes, do it. I went and got May. She came downstairs, and we had all of our stuff, and she said it's a 4-minute ride to the hotel from the airport.
Yeah.
I said, awesome. And so I said, let's make it happen. 30 minutes she's on the phone, or the walkie-talkie, with the driver, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to verify. And I said, I said to May, this is when I started getting pissy again, all right? I said, 4-minute ride with attached to it a 30-minute conversation. We're into this deal now for almost 40 minutes, and we still haven't left the perimeter. What's it going to be like coming back? Are we going to run into this? I'm like this to May. And May's like, I don't know. Your idea. Poor May. I tell you, that's how it's going. You didn't believe this. And so the guy shows up. He's got to stop because all this rain is coming.
Yeah.
And he takes us to this little hotel. Did it have an on-site restaurant? No. Did it have coffee? No. Downstairs, guy had some 3-in-1. But I said, okay, whatever. It's got Wi-Fi. we went upstairs, and it was a little room
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
shower and a toilet and a sink,
Yeah.
and it was a box, truly a box. It was a small hotel room at
Yeah, it's
best.
small.
And but it was better than sitting on
Yeah, yeah.
on a chair, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
at the airport. I thought this is worth the money. Meg was able to lay down and sleep for an hour or
Yeah.
two. I couldn't sleep. I just I kept worrying about this driver and this 30-minute thing and this 4-minute ride. And I told them emphatically, I don't want to leave here at 12:30. We just want to knock off, but I want to get to that airport more than on time. I'm just like that. Because if it can go wrong, it will. I've got my test and everything done. This is the last leg. It's a domestic flight. It shouldn't be that big a deal, but it might be. And the weather, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So we do just that. We just sort of chill out for a while. May does at least. I chill out. I relax. We take off our shoes. We lay down. We're able to kill some time in comfort. Use the restroom. They did have in-house coffee. So I had a couple of cups of coffee, instant coffee, which sounds small, but to me it was a big thing. It just kind of gave me a little perk up. We were hungry, but you know, it is what it is. May got to eat her Jollibee. And so we hung out until 12:20. And I said, okay, I said, May, let's do it. Let's go downstairs. Because I remembered that 30-minute friggin' conversation. And I said, I got a feeling, even though I've told them 5 times, come pick us up at 12:30.
Yeah.
I said, I just got a bad feeling about this. Unfortunately, I was right. Because as we got downstairs, I see the van leaving at 12:30. And I said to the girl behind the desk, I said, hey, that's our ride. She goes, oh, he'll be right back. He's just dropping someone off, and he'll be right back. You know, it's 4 minutes. I said, okay. And it rains like I've never seen it rain before. And the front of the hotel that we were staying at, this little place, what's it called? The 75 Inn. And it's in the lowest part of Manila, I think, because a swimming pool developed, a river, a lake developed, and cars and motorbikes were getting stuck in it, and it was so deep, the shuttle coming back can't get there. We could look out the front door and see the shuttle down the street. But where's our hotel? At the lowest point on the street. And it is so flooded and so full, we can't get to the shuttle. The shuttle can't get to us. So now, what is it? It's 1 o'clock. And I said, effort. Again, I go on May. I said, hey, May, you see, I told him 12:30. And you know what May said to me? She goes, why don't you tell the girl? she goes, I'm not in charge of this place.
She's working here.
Yeah, she's working here. I'm not. I just kept bitching at May. You know, really a bad side of me. I got to work on this. But traveling stresses me out. I don't do well with stress. What do the Filipinos do? They find a friggin' boat. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, you know, now it's 1:15. I said, this is never me, negative Nancy. This is never going to work. This is not going to happen. And they just kept laughing and smiling as Filipinos do. And they brought this little tiny boat made out of plastic with a little wooden chair on it. And I said, what about the luggage? They said, yeah. And so they started loading. They loaded up one lady. I was complaining so much.
One by one.
They didn't want any more to do with me. There was another lady. So they took another lady with her luggage and shoved her up to the friggin' van. And she got out.
Taking
and
picture.
we took a few. And she's having a great time. She thought it was awesome. She was selfieing herself the whole way.
Yeah.
And she was Filipina, right?
Yeah, working in Dubai.
Oh, okay. All right. And so, May made friends with her while I was complaining.
Yeah.
So now it's May's turn. And I said, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So they put May in this friggin' boat.
Yeah.
And there's good news. All right? We have footage of that. All right, here it is. Right, then we're going to get to our van.
Huwag mo na yung ano, huwag mo na yung kasokot yung ano bag namin. Teka pa yun? Meron pa yan? Nalo? Meron pa sa lagi. Wala.
Ang panay maroon ng lagi.
Isa pa? Ano pa? Ano pa?
Isang balik ka mamaya.
Sige po. Meron pa?
Oo, si sir ka mahuli.
Okay. Ay, isa pang balik?
Oo.
Baby May and now Paul's adventure. Taking a boat to our shuttle to try to catch a plane that we're an hour late for. Hey, can I get in there?
Nanay yung ano ay malay na malaglag.
Oh my God.
Ano yung nasa gitna?
Only in the Philippines.
Tollgate pa ata doon ah.
May toll gate pa yata. May checkpoint doon oh. Oo.
I got a feeling we're gonna miss our flight. Our 8-hour layover is now turned into a 28-hour layover. Or 38, depending on flights.
Yung registration form.
Yeah, we weren't expecting this today. All right, she's in. Now it's my turn. But I can't video in a wet boat, or I'll drop my phone. See how the conditions are. And now it's my turn. So here
Yeah.
I go.
Sama-sama! Alright! Shout out! Alright! Shout out to my friend Jason Melo. Oo, ayan. Pongpong Sputnik. Tulidos, shout out Tulidos. Oh, hey yo, ano?
Everybody wants Indiana.
Ayun, doon.
There we go. Come on, let's go.
Yo, my man.
All right, my man. Hello.
You wanna shout out Pongpong Sputnik?
Say hi to YouTube.
Okay.
Where's your wallet?
Exactly. And we made it.
Okay.
Okay, we're there. We're in the van. And guess what happened? We got to the airport with an hour to spare, of all things. And so we get to the airport. We check in, and we've got our boarding passes.
Yeah,
and
1 hour.
Right,
Yeah.
1 hour to go. She's spot on. And I said, well, that's it. The stress is over. I don't care. We are going home. We ain't losing no money. We're going to arrive. The worst is behind us. And we go to gate 16A.
Yeah.
And what did the sign say? Do you remember what city it was going to? Tagbilaran.
Ah,
Do you remember that?
yeah. The
Okay.
first travel is Tagbilaran. Same the floor.
Same gate
Yeah, same gate.
is Tagbilaran.
Tagbilaran, Bohol.
Okay, she can say it better than I can, obviously. And what do? I go right back into little shit mode. Hey, want Dumaguete? I don't see Dumaguete. And he's like, I don't know. I don't work here. And so we checked with the guard or somebody at the
Yeah.
front door. He says, relax, it's the same thing.
Yeah, same.
I can't relax. I'm too keyed up. I'm going on 30 hours, of 35 hours of no sleep, And the way things work in my travels never turns out right. This doesn't happen. So anyway, now we're on sitting there, and finally, after about 15 or 20 minutes, they had made all these announcements to this Tagbilaran, is that how
Yeah.
you say it?
Tagbilaran, Bohol.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
They overbooked that flight, and they're taking you by bus, the plane, by the way, that's why we were
Yeah.
sitting there. And they were trying to get rid of some passengers going to that destination. I can't say it, but she can. And so we, finally they put an announcement and they said Dumaguete
Yeah.
is on time. And I said, well, you know what, thanks for the information. I just relaxed. Gate 16A, that's where we were. Dumaguete is coming in on time, and you'll be boarding first, the
Yeah.
bus. These other guys, the Tagbilaran folks, we overbooked them. They're in trouble. But you guys, you're cool. So we got on the bus.
Yeah.
Right? And we actually met, who's sitting across from me? Guy's got a big briefcase and it says YouTube. I said, really? You work for YouTube? He goes, yeah. And I said, well, so I'm grinding him about the algorithm. And he's super private about this whole thing with YouTube. And so I asked him a couple of questions, and his reply was, what do you think's going on with that Ukraine-Russia deal? He wanted no part of talking about YouTube or what they do or how they operate. He was like he was undercover agent or something. So what did we do? We never got any information from him, but we did get on the plane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know what? That mother was delayed. We didn't actually even have any big crisis to worry about because that plane was running late. So that was our last 24 hours in Thailand. We took planes, boats, buses, and we made it home. Our future videos that we've got, a lot of times there's, for me at least, there's some days when you're doing YouTube that you sort of scratch your head and go, I don't really have any content. And I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I don't want to make a video just to make a video. So I don't. That's why there's sometimes lags on my channel. But I'll tell you what, we've got enough stories to last for 2 months. If you want to hear them, let us know. And we want to just thank you guys for hanging in there and listening to this big, long-winded explanation of our last 24 hours. Maybe it should make you feel good about yourself when you travel and you do such a better job than I do. And again, thanks to all the new people that subscribed recently. That's shot up a lot. And that's it. I'm going to put a link in to Baby May's channel so that you can watch some of her videos from Thailand. And we will be coming at you soon with another new video about our adventures.
Yeah.
All right?
So guys, thank you so much for always watching the Default channel. So guys, see you next the Default video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.